and welcome to another edition of Chop TV VVR Road Series. We are at Fuji Speedway. Playoff race number 4 with the VVR Road Series cars. This is a multi-class series, GTPs and GT3s. Our esteemed colleague, the Beaver, Robert Church, is doing road RC items at the start of the race, so he'll be joining us in the booth here just prematurely. And I'm going to go ahead and start the race. These guys have all finished qualifying at the moment. It looks like we're going to have Chris Roberge grabbing P number 1 in the GTP series, Steven Salas number 2, Mark Retchen snuck pole there in the GT3s, Tyler Hammond on the outside pole, Brad Dove, and Nathan Biggert. Robert Church is rounding out the GT3 class. It's going to be a small field tonight. Fuji was one of those tracks that a lot of these guys might or might not have. It's actually the final race before we head into the Championship 2 races. So the guys that did show up this week are going to be in full force. They're going to gain as many points as they can. They're going to set themselves up for a championship here at the last 2 races of this series. They're going to take a quick parade lap. We're going to watch them as they take this parade lap. We're watching Chris Roberge lead the GTP class. It's going to be 1 hour race. It's a timed 1 hour race, so we're not going to be taking any lap counts. Generally, it ends right at a 1 hour mark. All of these guys have 2 sets of tires. The GTP class is limited to 75% fuel, and the GT3s are limited to 85% fuel. Beautiful day here at Fuji. Man, this track is gorgeous. The scenery is amazing when it comes to this track. Almost sorry that I'm not going to get a chance to race. All right, we had a little mix-up there on the start. They sent the GTP guys a little bit early. As you can see, the pace car is still on the track. He's about to turn off here. Now they're going to be given the go-ahead. These GTP cars will now be able to go. That's the rule here, is we're going to, once the pace car is off the track, the GTP cars can go. Let's see the start for the GT3 class. Mark Retchen in that Audi R8 leading the class. Everybody looks to have gotten a good restart. Nate Biggert right on Tyler Hammond's bumper into the straightaway. This is a super long straightaway. Church bet you has some cool track facts when it comes to this actual straightaway. Let's jump into car, take a quick gander at what these guys are seeing inside the car. Look at how pretty this track is. We're inside the car with Mark Retchen. There you see Mount Fuji in the background. We just passed it. It's a technical course. These guys were complaining about the technicality of the course. I mean, there are some long swooping curves, a very long straightaway. A lot of these guys don't have tons of time at this track. Like I said, it is a paid version. It isn't an Iracing free track, so I haven't seen this track in the official races for about 2 seasons. I believe some of these guys are saying that the setups that they're running are about 2 seasons old. So it's going to take them a couple of laps to get into the groove. Mark's doing a great job right now. He's staying smooth, not overdriving the course. He's got a little gap behind him. It looks like Nathan Biggert is right behind him, about 1.5 seconds off. Here's this long straightaway we were discussing earlier. Look at the sheer length of the straightaway.
One of the longest straightaways on a racing circuit in the world. So that's pretty cool.
So that is Robert Church. He's back into the booth. Robert, let's check your audio there. You were a little soft when we were inside the cockpit. Why don't you give me a couple of words here?
Can you hear me now?
There we go. I hear you loud and
All
clear.
right. Yeah, it's one of the longest straightaways in the world for a racing circuit, is what I read somewhere. So that's pretty cool. And it's also cool that, you know, there's a mountain and volcano, Mount Fuji, which is, where did I see? 12,000 foot elevation. So it's pretty cool. Scenery here in Japan's pretty neat.
Now, we started in the late afternoon. These guys are probably going to be driving into the dusk hours. You can see the headlights on in the car. I personally don't think it's going to get into night. It should get pretty dark, but it's not going to be pitch black. So these guys should be able to ride around, enjoy this beautiful scenery here in Japan, and enjoy the track for what it is.
Just a big old Sunday cruise in Japan.
Just a big old Sunday cruise
show. Looks like Mark goes off track.
They were just discussing that earlier, that Iracing updated these curbs to the new 3D model curbs. Previously, you could run over these curbs and it really not impact the car, but you just saw Mark Gretchen routed one of those rumble strips and it just shot him straight into the air, wondering if it gave him any damage.
Yeah, it didn't look all that bad. I think he might be all right. He's still keeping up with Nate. But yeah, you don't want to jump them curbs like I guess you're used to able to do it.
No, these 3D curves are a nightmare. The car definitely feels them. If you're on one of those direct drive wheels and you're running a lot of force feedback, you're gonna feel that car bounce and steering wheel rip out of your hands. So most of these guys are on these higher end wheels. They are gonna feel it. But it looks like Mark Gretchen's actually gonna be okay. He's running right behind Nathan Biggert for second place at the moment. I'm going to jump over and check out the top two GTP cars. Let's see what's going on here. Looks like Chris Roberge is holding on to about a second lead over Steven Salas. These guys have been battling the last 4 or 5 races. And Steven Salas, we've done nothing but give him kudos for the last couple of races of how fast he's been the last couple of races. This is one of those new tracks. Anything can happen. I don't know if he's going to have enough for Chris Roberge. We're right in his cockpit right now. Look at the speed of these GTP cars.
Yeah, it's got Mount Fuji. It's got 100. It's able to hold 110,000 people. It opened up in December of 1965, and it's about 3.7 miles long. So I think 99% of it's probably that straightaway.
Oh, Steven Salas just got in the back of Chris Roberge. He went in a little too deep. Let's go back there and actually witness it. Let's see if this is... Yep. So it just picked it up right at that prior corner here. So here comes Steven Salas. He's coming in deep. He's going to be pulling in deep. Chris Roberge is off the brakes, off the gas early. Chris Roberge trying to take that real sharp right-hander as slow as he can, and Steven Salas just had so much momentum going in. He ended up just barely tapping him and spinning it out. But now Chris Roberge has a 20-second gap on Steven Salas. So Steven Salas has his work. He's going to have his work cut out for him to get back up to Chris Roberge.
Yeah, I would... He's not going to pit. I was kind of surprised there. That car, him shifting, was really redlining that car to shift it. So we'll see what happens.
It doesn't look like he's got a lot of front-end damage. You can see the car. We're looking at it. There's really no damage. It looks like it was just more of a aha moment. He just ended up locking up the tires to make sure he didn't get that damage in the front end. The splitter looks good. Car seems to be maintaining speed. He's going to be okay, I think, car-wise. Question is if he can get his bearings back in order, start knocking down those laps, and actually make up the time that he's going to need to do to get back to Chris Roberge. Because Chris Roberge, as you know, he's super consistent. He's not going to make mistakes. So Steven Salles is going to have to kick it up, run some quick lap times, and gain. So he's still about 21 seconds back of Chris Robert, so he's definitely got his work cut out for him.
Yeah, I know better to bet against him. All season long, Steven's been fast, so we'll see if he does remain in this race if he can catch up to him. They do have a mandatory pit stop, don't they?
Yes. So let's go over that again. These guys, it is a 1 hour race from start to finish. We're currently 7 minutes into the race. These guys have to pit. There is one stage at lap 15 where they get extra bonus points based off of where their current position is at that point. Generally right around that lap 15 mark, which is about 20 minutes in maybe, their fuel load's going to get pretty low and they have to go in and pit. Most of these guys are running these IMSA setups, so they're not able to carry a full fuel load. The league limits them to, I believe, 85%. They do have the option to just take fuel and no tires. They are allotted 2 extra set of tires in the event they do want to take them. Most of the guys don't take tires because they like the current set that they're in, but when you take that much fuel, it really doesn't hurt you to take an extra set of tires in some cases. Problem is, it takes you a little while to get those tires up to temp, so you lose time when you're doing that. But they do have to make a pit. They don't have to take tires, but they're going to have to take fuel.
So their car is not going to make it to the end unless they don't pit. I forgot to say something to them, just a reminder that they got to do 1 mandatory pit stop. So either way, they'll find out, and they're going to have to. Sounds like.
Yeah, they have to. It's there's been some occasions where they've tried to stretch it, but the fuel load is, unless it's a smaller track, they're gonna have to pit regardless. So there's really no feasible way for them to make it on fuel unless they fall back, multiple laps and they're running times that are excessively slower than the leaders are. Chris Robert is already, speaking of lapping cars, here comes Chris Robert right on Brad Dove's rear view mirror. Here he comes. Let's watch them as he makes this pass. Let's see if Brad Dove's going to make it easy on him. He goes down to the inside in this sharp right-hander. Looks like Brad Dove gave him plenty of room. Let's go in Brad Dove's car. Look at how that GTP just takes off. And Chris Robert has passed his first GT3 car. Chris Robert is in that black and red GTP, Cadillac GTP, and he's got his sights set for Tyler Hammond. Tyler Hammond's next here. He should be able to pass him fairly easy on the straightaway. There he goes. Jump in Tyler Hammond's car. Watch that GTP just take off like a rocket down that straightaway.
Down that long straightaway.
Beautiful scenery. Look how gorgeous this place is. You got any cool track facts for Fuji?
Yeah, the track was part of the 2020. Okay, in 2020 it was postponed. The Summer Olympics was postponed due to COVID. But in 2021, the Speedway was a venue and finish place for the cycling races. So the track was used during the Olympics. That was pretty cool. Used to be managed and owned. Yeah, used to be managed and owned by Mitsubishi Estates, but now Toyota Motor Corporation acquired the track in 2000, so Toyota owns it.
You were mentioning earlier in our conversation that I think they shut it down for major renovations back in, what was it, 2013 or was it 2003?
There's been a 2003. I believe. 2003 they shut it down for a big renovations. They added some chicanes to it to slow the drivers down on this track a little bit. So I usually give out my death tolls for each track and people that's lost their lives at these tracks. But I'll tell you what, I wasn't able to find any here besides 2 spectators were killed due to an racing accident some years ago. So I don't think any drivers maybe, but 2 spectators.
Well, I mean, loss of life never is a good thing. It is one of your track facts. You do like to give those, as Tyler said, some morbid news.
Yeah, I don't know why.
At every one of these tracks. I mean, it's good knowledge to have. Maybe it helps those drivers stay a little safer. But I mean, these guys, the guys that are racing for a living, they know the risk associated with it.
Yep.
I mean, you said some of the spectators actually lost their life here at this track, so that's unfortunate. But if you're going into a venue like this, whether you're racing or spectating, there's always some sort of risk involved. I mean, if it's your time to go, unfortunately, it's your time to go. And what better way to go than watching a race?
You were talking about the track closing down for redesign and stuff. Yeah, that was in 2003. In 2003 it closed down and it reopened in 2005. So it was closed for 2 years to do those renovations. In April of 2005, it hosted its first Formula One championship event in 29 years. And that race was won by Lewis Hamilton.
When was the last GP race? Was that the last?
GTP?
No, Formula One. My apologies. When was the last? Has Formula One ever been to this track? Do you recall? He'll be looking it up. Meanwhile, while Robert's looking that up, these guys were talking about that they thought they might go into the darkness. As you can see, there's another shade of darkness coming through. I thought they were going to go into the dusk, but no. This track is leaning towards, obviously, running into the evening. Let's see if they actually get into the pitch black at one point. Currently, if we jump in one of their cars, let's see if they still got a good advantage. Yeah, you can still see it. So it's dusk. It's a beautiful dusk. Late afternoon here in Japan. We're about 15 minutes into this race. Nathan Biggert and Mark Retchen are having a battle in the GT3 class. This is the best battle right now ongoing. This is the closest battle so far. It's generally within a half second to a second, and you can see Mark's giving it his all against one of the best drivers in the league, Nathan Biggert.
So in July of 2009 was the last time it looked like the F1s stopped the race. The last time they raced here due to an economic slump. So they did not return to Fiji, but instead went to Suzuka. And they've been going to Suzuka ever since 2010 onward. So yeah, that's kind of sad.
That is kind of sad. Beautiful track. I personally never have raced on the simulator on this track. I thought I did. Prior to jumping into this night's race, I could have swore I had laid down some laps here, but evidently it didn't.
Yeah, I thought I had it too. It surprised me when I didn't. I wasn't really worried about it. I thought I had it, and come to find out I didn't have it, which I thought I did. But kind of a cool fact about this track. It was originally intended to be a NASCAR and Indy style oval track. Is what it was really intended for. So it had a banking on turn 1. And that banking's kind of gone now out of turn 1, and some of it's still there. So watch those guys come down that straightaway into turn 1. You might see some of that banking. A little bit of it still.
Tyler seems to have dropped back a little. Did he crash? He did. So let's go back to see and figure out what happened to Tyler, because Tyler lost a position. Let's go take a look at his incident here. We're going to try to speed this up just a hair. We're going to go full speed. So here comes Tyler down the front straightaway. Speaking of the straightaway. And what happened? Oh, he locked. He did not crash. He just went off track. And I guarantee you what he got was an off track. So anytime you go off track like that, you usually are going to get a time penalty. So you have to slow down. You can see him slowing down real bad here to make sure he doesn't get penalized. If he continues to progress and accelerates through that penalty, he'll get a black flag. So that's actually what happened to Tyler. Looks like he just went a little bit wide on that first right-hander off of the straightaway and lost a little bit of time there, but he's going to be okay. He's about... he's got a pretty big gap. Dove's got a pretty big gap on him at this point. The interval's about 37 seconds, so either he's finding that he's got some damage or he's just going to be taking it slow for the rest of the drive, because Brad Dove is giving him a gap. Oh, Brad Dove is now into the pits.
Yeah, not sure what's going on with Tyler Hammond. I was watching him as Chris Roberge was getting ready to go out around him. He went off track again, kind of cut the corner, had to slow down again. And then on the next following corner after Chris got around him, he kind of went off track again and had to slow way down. So not sure what's going on with Hammond on that car, but hopefully we get it figured out.
Well, he's going to definitely make up his time here. He's just passing Brad Dove. He just passed Brad Dove into the pits. Not sure why Brad Dove is taking it into the pits this early. He didn't wreck. He might just be trying to play the short game, take some tires and fill her up. But let's go back to that one battle up front. These guys are still battling tooth and nail. Nate Biggert and Mark Retchen. These guys they've been within a second of each other for the last 5 or 7 laps or so. So this is really the race of the night. Retchen and Biggert. Biggert's just doing what he normally does, just taking it easy and slow.
Yeah, it's a really good race. Probably, like you were saying, it's probably the battle on the racetrack right now. It seems like Mark catches him on the bumper, and then Nate pulls away a little bit of cat and mouse going on. But yeah, it's for the top spot on GT3. So as it looks like Nate slows down a little.
So it looks like Mark's taking it a little bit. He's going a little bit deeper in on entry, where Nate's kind of coasting through the entry and then driving off the corner. So Nate's managing his tires. I think Mark's running those tires a little bit harder than he probably wants to, and Nate's just anticipating that. But Nate's not giving him the preferred passing lane, so Mark's going to have to make whatever move he needs to make when he has that opportunity. Right now, these little tight corners, these little left and rights that they're going through, this is not a good passing zone. He's going to have to set that up probably towards closer to that straightaway, which we're coming up to here shortly.
Yeah, it looks like Mark's cutting those corners awful sharp, driving them in real deep. Maybe it'll be a little bit faster coming out if he kind of arcs it a little bit more. But he's still staying with Nate.
Oh yeah, time-wise, they're both running 142s. Actually, Mark was faster with a 142.6 the last lap. Nate just ran a 142.4 there, so they're on top of each other as far as times go. Chris Roberge and Steven Salas, they're running 131s, 133, so they're the fastest on the track. Tyler ran a 147 his last time around, and then Brad Dove did a 239, but obviously he went in there and hit. Let's see if Brad Dove pulled back onto the track. Yes, he did. He's back out on the track. Tyler's back. Looks like he's far more comfortable now. He just jumped over some of those curbs. Did you see those sparks coming out of the back under that Porsche?
No, I was watching this.
The battle up front.
Mark Retchen.
Let's go back to the battle up front, because this is definitely the best battle. Mark's closed it down to about a quarter of a tenth. He's right on Retchen's bumper. I'm sorry, on Nate's bumper. We're about 21 minutes into a 60-minute lap event. These guys should be pitting. They could be pitting anytime. The pit window is now open for them. I don't know if either of these guys are going to pit. I'm almost certain Mark's going to wait for Nate to pit. before he decides to do what he needs to do. I don't know if he's going to stretch it or he's going to undercut him. But that's the race. Let's see what Roberge is doing. Roberge, well, we were talking about Steven Salas and what he needed to do.
Speaking of Steven Salas, that car sounds way different than Chris Roberge. Sounds like it's missing.
Two different two different manufacturers. Brad Dove just went off the track and he lost a little time. But if you jump into, we're going to jump in the cockpit so you guys can hear the difference between an Acura and a Cadillac. So this is the Acura, or as when I went to the dealership, the guy told me it's an Acura. Here's the Acura. You can hear the sound of it. It's lawnmower-esque.
Yeah, totally two different sounds, that's for sure.
All right, we're going to jump into Chris Roberge now. This is, I believe, please correct me out there if I'm wrong, but this is a turbo V6 that I believe is in an Acura, and then Roberge is in a naturally aspirated V10. I'll confirm that here in a second, but we're now in Chris Roberge car. Look at the difference in sounds. So that Cadillac has a lot of throatiness down in the lower RPMs, where that Acura is going to be basically a top-end monster. You're going to hear that thing sing right here when he gets into that top gear. Yeah, you can hear those turbos whistling. That little whistle like a fan in the background. It might be not too audible for the audience, but I can definitely hear it as a broadcaster. So Iracing had a huge update. You guys might not be aware of that. We are in week 13 in Iracing, and week 13 usually is that fun week where Iracing puts out a bunch of different fun events, mishmash events where you can join and run no damage and it won't hurt your points or your I rating or safety rating. But also they release new content. So what do you think about the content that was released this week, Church?
Yeah, I mean, Oswego Speedway, they added the asphalt track this week for that. I don't think the dirt one's quite out yet. So, yeah, what'd they do? A couple road tracks and a couple new cars.
So the week 13 last release, which was 13 weeks ago, we got the rain, and everybody was excited about rain. That was a huge release from iRating, and this one is more of a watered down version. I'm not disappointed. I guess I was not necessarily overwhelmed by the previous version, but it felt a little watered down. So what iRacing did this, some of the key points is the release. They released 2 American GT3 cars, which was huge. A lot of the community was clamoring about how they wanted these American GT3 cars. So we got the GT3 Chevrolet Corvette Z06, and we also were able to get the Mustang GT3. So those are 2 brand new cars. We were able to obtain a brand new race course for the road series that is free, and then there's a paid version, so there was 2 releases of 2 road courses. Oswego, which you made mention of, and that one's in New York, which is asphalt as well as dirt, more of a short track oval style of race track. However, we didn't get the dirt version yet. They released the asphalt version first. Looks like a wonderful place to race. I haven't purchased it yet. I know I did catch a couple of guys out there racing. I saw some of these YouTubers out there running around with that new content. That place did look fun. Another big release was what do they call those? Street stock cars? The new body styles on the street stock cars?
Yeah. Dang, I forgot which ones they added now. But yeah, they added 2 new bodies to that. The street stocks.
So we've had iRacing has had a street stock car, which is kind of the entry car that everybody starts with in the oval series. It's basically a car that you'd see at your local racetrack is really what it is. And it's been there for a while, so they just revamped it. They added 2 revisions to it. I believe they call one Casino and the other one, they got some weird names to them. You know, they added some little quirky names to them, but they released 2 body styles.
I was trying to think of the real names of them. I'll have to look at them again, but yeah, one was Casino and the other one was something. But no, you were talking about, they also added a different kind of feel to the trucks. And, you know, after racing at Auto Club last night, you can definitely tell there is a big difference in driving the trucks. I honestly, I mean, I liked it a little bit more realistic, I guess you could say. I mean, you really couldn't flat-foot it all the way around Auto Club, so, I mean, I think it's going to benefit us in the long run.
So what Robert's talking about, also they released an aero change to a very welcome change to the Craftsman truck series in the oval side. So the trucks are extremely popular in the oval side. It's more of an entry, I'm not going to say super entry level oval car, but however, it's extremely popular. And it's been running on an old aero model. I believe it has a new tire model. They've updated the tire model previously, so they made it better and better. But what they did is they released a new aero model where side drafting, and it has less downforce. So side drafting was going to be more prevalent, and then you're going to have a little less downforce, which increased the speeds, your top end speed in the truck, but it hurt the handling of the truck. Now last night Chop Shop had a 100 lap race in the truck series, which we run Tuesday nights, and it's broadcasted through Signature Esports. If you haven't done so already, make sure you subscribe and like his broadcast, man. Those are awesome broadcasts. But we had one heck of a race last night with that updated model, and a lot of these guys didn't have an opportunity to practice heavily with that aero model, but still the race was amazing. Yeah, you were talking a little bit about that, so that was another big update that we got, as well as some other cool little tidbits. So iRacing does a wonderful job in giving us new things to play with every 13 weeks. You know, sometimes they spoil us and release something out of the blue, but we get the big batch of releases generally every 13 weeks.
Yeah, sorry to cut in here, but Chris Roberge is in front of Nathan Bigart and Mark Gretchen. Then you got Steven Salas behind them. He's going out around him right now. But there was a gaggle of 4 cars. That knows the tail there for a little bit.
Yeah, I was watching it. We definitely got the broadcast on that. We're watching Gretchen, Nathan, Steven, and Chris Roberge. Prior to jumping into the actual conversation about the Week 13 release, I was going to make mention, Steven Salas, we talked about earlier, he had to make up a 20-second gap on Chris Roberge. Well, guess where that gap's now? 1.4 seconds back. He is on Roberge like white on rice. He's coming. Yeah,
I wasn't going to count him out yet. I'll tell you what, Steven Salas has really impressed me throughout this whole road series. He's really, from the beginning till now, he's really excelled. So, yeah, he made up that 20-second gap.
Well, you know how he made it up? Chris Roberge crashed. Let's go back to that crash. Either he got off track or he actually wrecked. So we're looking at the replay here. Oh, he just sent it. Oh, he wrecked. Oh no, that's what happened. Chris Roberge hit his Cadillac while leading. Let's take a look at it slightly slower at a different angle, and let's see what happened. Let's jump in his car. Let's go chase mode and take a look at it again. So he's coming into the corner here. He just went in too hot. He just went in too hot in the corner, overdrove it, it was a left-hander. He went wide on it, and then it just went straight. He just went straight, got into the grass, hit the wall. That's where he lost his time. That's where his 20 seconds went. Steven Salas is now right on his bumper. So let's go back in.
Not for sure. Not 100% sure, but I think Nate just came over the radio to let Mark know that he was going to pit this time, maybe.
Okay, so we're, 33 minutes into this 60-minute session. Pitting is about to unfold. We'll definitely go in. Tyler Hammond just went into the pit, so once they start pitting, we're going to start going to them. But it looks like this battle right here for the GTP lead is starting to heat up. Steven Salas right on Chris Roberge. Chris Roberge definitely has damage, so he's probably just going to try to limp it, get in and get that one fast repair that these guys are given, fix that car, take fuel, come back out, and put forth a charge. But Steven Salas is right on his bumper right now.
Yeah, he's on his bumper, and Mark Iracing is still on Nate's bumper. So what a battle between these two guys for the top spot in the GT3s. And those GTP top spots are heating up too.
So I'm looking at the top speed here. It doesn't look like Chris Roberge is suffering anything in the top speed. He was able to hold off Steven Salas on that straightaway. Let's jump over to see these guys. Mark Iracing and Nate Biggert on that straightaway. It looks like Nathan is pitting. There he goes off to the right. He's pitting. Mark is going to stay out on the track to lead this lap. So here's Mark taking his first, I believe his first time that he is actually going to be in the lead. Let's go in and see what Nate did. He just went in right into the pits. Does not look like he was speeding, so he should be okay. I wonder if Nate's going to take 4 tires or not. We'll jump back in there in just a second. Look at his time. Let's go back to the Chris Roberge and Steven Salas action.
Watching Mark Iracing there, and he took that little S corner a little too fast, kind of overdrove one of the corners, but he managed to stay on the track though.
Man, it's getting dark quick. I don't know what this weatherman's doing, but he keeps giving us these night races.
Christmas lights are coming on now, and they're pretty cool on these cars.
We've been trying, so the way that these races are set up is we try to change the weather as best as we can. Iracing on that last update gave us an awesome weather system. It literally, you can set up the weather based off of how it is in real time at that location and time that you're racing. So if we really wanted to, we could have set up this race in Japan at its true weather and current, temperature. However, we probably didn't update it because they started it late afternoon, and it is definitely going into the dark now. I mean, we're 36 minutes into the race. It's going to be pitch black by the time they finish this race. But it looks like there's plenty of lighting around the track. I know last time we did a night race, we went to, Willow Springs, and everybody was talking about that it looked like they had blinders on. They couldn't see nothing out there.
Yeah, Brad Dove made a pit stop. He's already out, and Tyler Hammond made a pit stop too. He's still continuing in the pits, so. Oh, and Tyler Hammond took it to the garage. He's done for the day.
Tyler Hammond entered the pits, but did he go off track again?
I'm not for sure what happened.
Let's see. It's we're gonna go in the. Yep. He went off track again, but he didn't hit nothing. All right, Brad Dove just crashed, so let's take a look at what Brad Dove's doing here. Let's try to get in as close as we can so we can see exactly what's happening.
Unfortunate for Tyler. I'm sure he's just frustrated and
He's probably just having a rough night.
called it a day.
Nate just went off track a little bit as well, but he did not crash. So here's Nate just going right off into the... he's just using every inch he can of the track probably. What happened to Tyler? I'm quite amazed with Tyler.
Yeah.
Let's drag him up into the...
As all that's going on, Steven Salas took the lead from Chris Roberge, so put Steven Salas in that #1 spot in the GTP.
Let's bring Tyler up in here and see what occurred. Is he in? No, he is not in the Discord. So Chris or Tyler probably called it a night.
Yeah, something happened, and probably really frustrated him. He just said he was gonna call it.
Oh, maybe it was, system issue, technical issue. He wasn't running all that well tonight as far as his normal pace. Usually he's a lot quicker. But let's.
I think the way I was thinking is he probably just called it. I mean, he did pit, and then that's where he just got out of the car.
Looks like the GTP cars are pitting. Steven Salas is pitting. Is Roberge pitting? No, he is not. Roberge is staying out another lap. Mark Retchen still currently has the lead on Nathan Biggert, so he hasn't pitted yet. He's got a 44-second gap on Nate. So Nate will probably take that lead from him when he pits. Because to fill up these cars, it'll take about 30 seconds. Anywhere to 30, 40 seconds, depending on if you take tires or not.
Yeah, Chris going out around Nate Biggert here. Nate lets him go by. So Chris will presume your GTP lead still needs to pit. Steven Salas pitted, he's in second. Mark Retchen still needs to pit. He's first place in your GT3, followed by Nathan Biggart. He already pitted. Brad Dove already pitted, running third. Tyler Hammond called it a night. Fourth place.
Yeah, we're riding on board with Chris Roberge here. We're trying to get more of an in-car view for you guys, because if we start going external, you're going to just see nothing but headlights. Since it's darkened up some. I mean, we're 40 minutes in. We still got about 20 minutes left of the race. We're going to try to catch as much action as we can. Chris Roberge has opted to stay back out on the track, so he's trying to put Steven Salas as far back as he can. See if Mark's going to make that decision and go into the pits here in a second. Nate's slightly gained on Mark, about a 10th. Let's look at the times. Nate was about a second faster that last lap. He ran a 141.4 to Mark's 142.9. So I mean they're on top of each other, but the pit itself, this pit cycle could dictate who's going to come out front and who's going to stay out front. I mean, that's really what you want, is that clean air.
I'd say if any time, I'd say now is the time for Mark to go into pits. But,
yeah, I would agree with you. I'd agree. Just might as well just get in there, get the fuel you need. It doesn't look like he's going to go in there because he's past that commitment cone, which is off to the right. He just passed it. So he's going to stay back out on the track for at least one more lap. Let's look at his lap times. He just ran a blistering 141.9. So he's back on pace with Nate. Let's see what Nate runs here in just a split second. Now, that's another thing. You want to run the car as long as you can with that lower fuel load, because it's going to get faster. The car is going to get faster every lap with that lower fuel load. It's crazy how much this excess fuel has an effect on your times. So if you stay out, you better be running those quicker lap times. If you're not, you might as well just go in there and take the fuel. So you can see when we look at the external view, we're just getting kind of a darkness, and we can check out some headlights on each one of these cars. There's the Acura, those pretty headlights. Let's look at the Audi R8 headlights. Oh, you can see some sparks there from that 3D curbing. Go to Nate here. I think Nate's in the Merc. Pretty lights. And Dove's in the grass, and he's stopped. And he's into the grass again. He's going slow, but he's in the Ferrari. He's got somebody coming, so he better start getting. There you go. He got back on track. Tyler's in the pits. Can't really showcase him, but let's go jump back in.
Roberge is just leaving pits now, and he spins it out.
Oh my goodness, we were just live with Chris Roberge. He just came out of the pits. He just came out of the pits, right? Yeah, he just came out of the pits. Cold tires. Well, cold tires. So that could be what we were just discussing earlier. Are you going to take tires or not take tires? Usually the consensus is don't take tires. You don't need them. I mean, you don't really wear tires too much. He's probably got 85% thread, still left on the tires. It's only an hour race, so they should survive. Some guys get caught with wanting those fresh tires. You go in there and you take fuel and you press the button. You automatically say, you know what, I'm just going to take tires anyways. But that's what can happen. So that's going to hurt him in the long run. He's currently still about 30 seconds in front of Steven Salas, which is quite surprising. Did Steven Salas lose that much time in the pits? So let's see if I can find the length of duration that they were in the pits. It's not giving me the duration. Let's see. Well, SDK's not giving me the duration of their pit times, but that's fine. I can check in another way. Pit times. Chris Roberge was 23 seconds. Steven Salas was 1 minute and 2. So yeah, he was in there for quite a while. Nate went in there and took a splash, 17 seconds. And obviously Mark has not hit yet, so currently Chris Roberge is holding a 31-second lead on Steven Salas. Mark is holding a 40-second lead on Nathan Biggert. So we're going to ride with Mark here. Let's give him some TV time. This man is one of the OGs of the Chop Shop League. This guy, if he doesn't have bad luck, he doesn't have no luck at all sometimes. So we're going to want to root for him. We want to make sure he has a good finish. He's been doing outstanding today. He's one of those guys that you just like to root for. Alright, let's see if we can get us somebody live up here. We're going to bring up Chris Roberge. We're going to bring him into the booth. Chris Roberge. You got a copy. It says Michael and Robert up in the booth.
Yes, I do.
How's it going, buddy? How's the car
good.
feeling?
Good.
Feeling pretty good? You're out there leading.
Oh yeah. I got a little loose on our cold tires there at the turn one.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if you forgot you had fresh cold tires on when you come out of the pits there, but you managed to keep her under control. But
yeah.
So is it getting harder?
Yes, it is. It's very hard because it's really dark.
It's really dark. That's what I was for.
That's what we were talking about earlier. We didn't anticipate it to get this dark this quick, but man, the weatherman got us again this week. We thought we were going to get a dusk type of late afternoon race, but no, it's gotten to pitch black now.
And it doesn't look like there's any lights on this track.
Oh, just only, I think, on the front stretch only.
Yeah, because it looks pitch black out there right now.
Oh, yeah.
So we're riding in the cockpit with Chris Roberge. You're seeing what he's seeing. You can see the only thing that you can see is basically whatever his front headlights pick up. You're going down the straightaway, looking good. You're carrying a nice gap on Steven Salas. It looked like Steven had a long pit. I'm not sure if he went in there and forgot to hit his fast repair, but he stayed in the pit box a lot longer than you did. Did you end up taking tires?
Oh, yeah, I did. I took tires this time.
Okay, so he took tires. Did you feel that you needed them?
Oh, yeah, I'm good with fuel. I just did a little couple of just a few gallons extra, just in case. So it should be good to go.
All right, we're going to let Chris Roberge go back and finish his race. He's currently in the lead. We got about 12 minutes left in the race. Come on, Chris Roberge, bring it home. Send us into that championship finale as the GTP class leader. Steven Salas is coming, so always be on the lookout. Anything else that you want to talk to him about, Church?
No, that's it. I got other news.
All right, Mr. Roberge, congratulations on a good run so far. We will catch you in a little while.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
Yeah, I think Mark's spinning out there, getting loose and spinning it out. That was the time he decided it was time to bid. So you get Mark Gretchen in the pits after spinning.
All right, so Mark Gretchen has taken it into the pits. Oh, you're right. He did lose a little bit of time there. Let's take a look at how he lost some time prior to going to the pits. Just a little spin, nothing major, but that's a good 5, 7, 8 second loss of time. So you can't really lose that time on a guy like Nate Biggert. He's going to make you pay. And just like we said, that Nate took the lead in the GT3 class, and now he's about 10 seconds ahead of Gretchen. So just like we said, anywhere from 5 to 7 seconds he lost, and then obviously it took a little longer in the pit box. Now he's down about 9 seconds on Biggert. So we're going to drag Nate Biggert in here for just a split second. Let's get his viewpoint on what's going on, and then we'll let him go back to race. Mr. Nathan Biggert, striker up here, Robert Church, the Beaver, in the booth. You got a copy?
I got you.
What's going on, buddy? It looks like you took the lead again. You plan on relinquishing that or holding on to it?
I'm trying to hold on to it. I think Mark must have had an issue right before he pit, because he lost like 10 seconds, and now that's the gap, I think. So.
Yeah, he spun it out a little bit there on one of the corners. He was able to recover real quickly, but I think that was the time to say, hey, I'm holding it right now.
Yeah, I think that's where he lost, because we were really matched on it was going to be a great fight. So I'm just trying to hold this thing together, but I keep getting distracted and missing corners.
How's
having battle.
What's the difficulty level here with your view? Your being able to, is it Willow Springs dark or is it Fuji dusk?
Yeah, it's not quite Willow Springs because there's a lot of markers on this track. I'm used to it, so I know like things on the side of the track that you can really look for braking, and a lot of curbing that helps you along, where Willow Springs just doesn't have anything to help you know where the track's going. So this one ain't too bad, but it is definitely dark out here for sure. Doesn't seem like there's a moon or a star in the sky.
Yeah, we were talking about the weatherman set it up this week. We were supposed to get a late afternoon, kind of a dusk race, but no, we're not going to get any of that. We're going to fall into the darkness. You guys are going to deal with not only fast cars around you like you're dealing with now, you got a GTP right behind you, but you're going to have to deal with some visibility problems.
Absolutely gonna have to. I remember I asked Striker here before the race, and he said it might get a little dark. That was his comment.
This is a little dark.
Oh, Jesus.
So it can get darker, right?
You know, it could be worse. It could be Willow Springs dark, Nate.
Oh, he jumps the curb. We gotta let him go.
All right, Nate, we're going to let you go finish your race. You only got about 10 minutes left before the checkered flag falls, so hopefully we'll see you up here in the booth.
I'm hoping so.
All right, we're going to send you back down with your boys in Discord. We appreciate you coming up here and coming to talk with us.
Yeah, thank you.
A little distraction there on
Yeah, I mean,
the curb.
Normally we won't pull these guys up and distract them, but prior to the race, we did let them know we were going to bring some of you guys up here and just have a quick conversation with you. It probably wasn't the smartest thing to do. Bring him here with about 8 minutes left in the race.
Well, he was going around. He was going around Brad Doug there, and I think he just made his corner entry different because he was going around Doug there, and so he jumped that curve there. But, Doug's doing a good job of letting these guys by and just cruising.
So Chris Roberge has a good gap on Steven Salas. He's still about 29 seconds ahead of him. Steven Salas is running faster lap time, so he is running him down. Is he gonna have enough time? He's about a second faster than Chris Roberge. It went to 30 seconds. All right, let's see what Nate's doing. Nate has about an 11-second gap on Mr. Retchen. And let's take a look at some of their lap times. It looks like Nate's running 140s. And Retchen ran a 141. So Nate's currently faster than Retchen. So Retchen's going to have to pick up his game or hope that Nate has some type of mechanical failure or just not paying attention. Maybe goes too deep, gets off the course or something along those lines. But that's probably not going to happen with a veteran such as Nate Biggert. He is one of our better road course guys, so he can, what do they say, chew gum and talk at the same time, or is it walk and chew gum? Which one is it?
Wouldn't it pat your head and chew gum at the same time?
Yeah, it's one of those. He can do all of the above. He can walk and talk and chew gum and pat his head and still drive, so this guy's a beast. Let's jump in with Mark. Let's see what Mark's doing, see how his car's feeling. Kind of curious if Mark took tires as well. On these curbs, he's trying, he's giving it his all. He knows this is a great opportunity for him, a wonderful opportunity to gain points. We have 2 of the 3 top guys didn't show up to race today, so this is going to be an ample opportunity for him to take advantage and gain those necessary points, because this is a cutoff race.
Yeah, even if he shoots with us, the bar could be a good position. And I think he's probably got that locked up as long as the car nothing happens. I was watching him, Steven Salas ahead of him. I didn't see the pass when Steven made that pass. But, he's rolling.
He's rolling, so let's look at the times again. It looked like Chris Roberge actually was a little bit faster than Steven Salas. Steven Salas had to deal with a little bit of lap traffic. Chris Roberge ran a 131.09. No, I lied. Salas was still faster. He ran a 130.9. So he's definitely laying down some quicker times. I don't think it's going to be sufficient. He's going to have to cut into that substantially if he's going to get Chris Roberge. I mean, where there's a will, there's a way. There's always that opportunity. He can definitely do it. I'm not going to count out Steven Salas. He was down 20 seconds at one point, and he chased him down, so...
Yeah, definitely don't count him out. So anything can happen. Looks like we've got about 3 minutes left.
So Let's take a look at the clicker here. We are currently listed at 57 minutes and 7, 8, 9, 10 seconds into the race. What I've noticed is that isn't very accurate. It's usually about 6 minutes off or so. So if that's the case, I guess we can take this by two different thoughts. We can say, hey, in 3 minutes we could get a white flag, but odds are it's probably not going to occur. I know that ticker is off about 6 minutes, so we're about 9 minutes from the checkered flag. So they got plenty of time, you know. There's still some time to be had. Chris Robert's still running good times. Let's take a look at Retchen back here again. Retchen just ran 6 seconds faster than Nate. Nate must have had something happen to him. Yes, he just ran 6 seconds faster. Did Nate go off track? Let's see. He did. Nate overdrove a corner, just like we were talking. And he probably got that slowdown. So that's the same slowdown Tyler had earlier. Brad Dove just went off course.
You know, and Retchen's going to have fresher tires than Nate. So once again, I'm not gonna. He's got a car in front of him. That would be.
Brad Dove just went off the course, and it looks like he's on top of the. He jumped to the pits. Brad Dove high centered it on one of those on those 3D curves. Let's see if we can get a better view of it. Oh, it wasn't the 3D curves. Oh my goodness, Brad Dove. It wasn't a curve. It was one of those barriers. He just went right into it and got high centered on that. All right, let's go back to Mr. Retchen. Retchen is cutting into Nate Biggert time. You can see Nate Biggert off into the distance. Those lights up front. I believe that's Nate.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. It does. It looks like Nate Biggert. He's coming.
So he just ran another 4 seconds faster than Nate. Either Nate has got some damage, or he's sandbagging. What do you think? He's on him now, dude. He's on him. He's on him right now.
I'm wondering. I kind of thought Nate was saving tire, but I wonder if those tires. I mean, Retchen's got fresher tires by a couple laps on Nate, so.
He just made up a 9-second gap into a 1-second gap. He's there. He's on him.
Yeah,
I'm looking at the speed to both of these guys, and they're running roughly about the same top speed. Actually, it marks about 4 or 5 seconds, 4 or 5 miles an hour faster on the top end. And Nate might be having some damage here. Might be in some trouble. Here comes Retchen. We're at the 1 hour mark, 60 minutes into the race. At any point now, you're going to see the white flag drop. Mark just takes the inside. Oh no! He saved it! Saved it! Let's look at these guys battle here. And Mark just took the high side. Nate's down on the bottom. Are they going to make contact? No. It's a drag race down the start-finish line. Looks like that Merc's got a little bit better top-end speed than that Audi. Nate took the lead again.
Nate's swerving all over the place. Not sure what's. Is he pitting? No, he's pitting.
No, you're right. He's. Was that it? That was it. That was it. That was it. Nate, that was it. That was the checkered flag. So the timer is actually right today. 101. It actually was right on the money. Yeah, last week we were about 6 seconds. 6 seconds slow. Let's actually replay that. Let's see if. Well, obviously Chris Roberge already has taken the checkered flag. So congratulations to Chris Roberge. Steven Salas ended up finishing second. Nathan Biggert did end up winning this GTP battle that we were watching. Mark Retchen ended up finishing second. Brad Dove took home a podium, top 3. Brad Dove, Tyler Hammond rounded up top 4, and then obviously Robert Church rounding out the top 5 in the GT3 series. Let's go. I'm going to go and replay that last drag race to the finale. Let's see if I can.
What a battle all race long between Nathan Biggart and Mark Retchen. I mean, like I said, I wasn't counting nobody out, whether it was Steven Salas or Mark Retchen, to make up that ground and catch him. And Mark did just that and caught him there on the last lap. And they were side by side at the line.
So we're going to catch it right off the corner here. We're going to jump into, let's jump into Mark's cockpit. So here they come around the last corner. Mark went wide. Nate's on the inside. It's a drag race. It's a drag race to the finish. And here they're coming to the start-finish line. Oh, Nate just barely pulled in front of him. And there's your margin of victory. A car.
It sure seemed like there was something wrong with Nate Biggart's car.
Yeah, that was your margin of victory. Wow.
I think if they had one more lap, I think Mark maybe would have got him, but not sure. Not sure what was going on with Nate. We'll have to find out.
What did Nate do here? Hit the nitrous? Look at this thing take off. Nate was definitely dealing with something in his... Or did Mark hit him? Because he's dancing. Yeah, he's dancing all over the place.
Yeah, he was dancing all over the place trying to keep her straight. Not sure what went on.
Either way, congratulations to our winners tonight. Chris Roberge taking a victory in the GTP. We actually missed that, so I apologize, Chris Roberge. Steven Salas ended up getting second place. Those guys are going to just be battling for the last 2 races to get to the championship. Nathan Biggert ended up winning the race today. Mark Retchen ended up finishing second. Like I said, Brad Dove, Tyler Hammond, and Robert Church rounding out the drivers for today. We're going to round up the drivers here for a split second, get them into the booth, and let's figure out what happened there at the end. Let's kind of figure out what happened before we start making any other assumptions. So we'll be back. Give us about 2 minutes, and we shall be back. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. We're going to talk to some of our victorious drivers today. Let's see who's still available out in the Discord. All right, let's bring in Mr. Chris Roberge first. Chris Roberge, striker, and the Beaver, Robert Church, up here in the booth. You got a copy.
Yes, I do.
Talk to us, Roberge. What happened? We ended up missing in your checkered flag lap there just because we were caught up in a battle with Nathan Biggert and Mark Retchen and Nathan Biggert. But I mean, you had a great race. You had one heck of a race. Walk us through it. How did you feel? How did the car run?
The tires are really cold, so I had to take it really easy, trying to get up there as quick as I could. I think on the S's, I think Steven got just almost got into me in the rear end, and then he spun out on me before the S's there because I was taking my time to get around there. I don't want to wreck my car or spun out either, so something happened there, and then I just kept going and going until I tapped the wall a little bit going up the hill there on the left, really sharp left turn there. Just tapped the wall. Nothing serious damage to my car. It just says left right side damage, but no meatball, nothing. And I think Steven caught up to me. He left a couple of laps, and then I try to do a little fake going in the pits there and just say, okay, well, he's going in. I'm going to keep going. I don't know what happened to him in the pits. I did lap him once, and then he caught up. But he didn't, I think he fell back quite a bit. So, car run really well there.
You had a lot of pace today. You were super fast. You had that big gap on Steven Salas early in the race. There was one point early in the race where it was that tight right-left-hander during the daytime that you took it soft entry and he sent it in a little bit deeper, made it to your bumper, must have locked up the tires, ended up spinning, and you gained, that 20-second gap on him. And to be honest with you, I thought at that point the race was over, being that you're generally pretty consistent, but you ended up having a little mix-up later in the race where you spun it yourself and gave him, a good chunk of that lap back. Steven Salas was super fast. Were you a little concerned at that point that he was going to run you down and you might not be able to get back around him?
I knew I'd get around him, but I didn't want him to just go up ahead just because I knew he's going to pit before I do because that's what he does mostly. And I'm trying to see if I can fake it to go in the pits with when I was doing that because I noticed that he was doing the same way. I don't know what he was doing, but he was going a little fast and he was going in and out. But then he came in the pits, and I decided to just stay out and just kept going and going, and of course I spun out myself on the first turn there with cool tires.
Yeah, we were curious if you were going to take tires. You said you ended up taking them. I mean, ultimately, it didn't cost you by taking tires. You did spin it, but he had his trouble in the pits. We'd love to talk to him. Steven, if you're out there, get your mic fixed so we can get you up in here, buddy, and get your viewpoint on what occurred because you've been running so great, Steven. We want to make sure that we get your kudos out here, make sure that you're able to tell us how you did. But all in all, Chris, it was a pleasure watching you win again in that Striker Shades beautiful Cadillac that you got out there. Beaver, you got anything for him?
I don't, man. Besides, I mean, these two, Chris and Steven have been running great this year. I didn't know what was going to happen when he come out when you came out of the pits and spun her around, but yeah, cold tires. So you were able to recover that real quickly and keep on rolling. But good win, man. How many does that make on the season now?
2 for this one.
2 for this one. So yeah, you might have a championship in store for you this year. But congratulations, man. And where are we at next?
We are at, let's see, we're going to Montreal. Giles Villeneuve. I probably didn't say that right. Yeah, or Canada.
Yeah.
Is it Canada?
Is it Montreal, Canada? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you ever been there in real life, Chris?
Nope, I have not.
Yeah.
For those in Canada I've been in is Alberta. That's where my dad lives, and that's the furthest I've been to Canada. But my furthest place out of Canada was in Athens, Greece, when I was doing my Special Olympics.
I
And then
remember.
the other furthest U.S. I've ever been is in L.A.
Nice, nice, nice. I'll tell you what. When I think of Canada, when I think of Canada, I'll be honest with you. I think of fishing up there, and I think of uh, deer, elk, and moose because the hunting up there is great, and they got some big deer. And Iowa is known for one of the biggest deer places in the United States. So I've seen Canada, watched a lot of videos, and that's one place I want to go. I want to go. I want to go whitetail deer hunting up in Canada.
We got a lot of those around here.
Yeah.
And we got a lot of. I don't know if you guys hunt like cats, like wild cats. Like we have cougar.
Oh, yeah, cougar. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We got you guys can hunt there for those guys because we got so many of those. I think we got a lot of moose, elks, of course. But they're mostly on the mainland. Where
Yeah.
I'm at, we don't get a lot of moose because they won't survive here.
Have you ever been on Montreal, the track on iRacing?
No, I have not. And what's
Have not.
their track called? Because I don't see Montreal on here at all.
The actual name of the track is Gilles Villeneuve. Villeneuve. Yeah, but it's going to be. I don't remember the last time we went out there. I don't know if we went
That's
last
June.
season, but
That's June 19th. Next week we've got a bye week, so
right,
and
right. Well,
then we go there. Yep.
correct. The next race with the championship for. So basically, what happens is once the points are all acclimated, once the points are all updated, it's probably going to go down, obviously, between you and Steven Salis there in the championship. So congratulations, man. Make sure you take this one. You enjoy it. You've earned it.
Yeah,
You definitely showcased what you can do in this GTP car, dude. Congratulations. I'll let Church finalize it for you there, but make sure you guys give your shout outs.
Give you
oh
shout
yeah,
outs, buddy.
oh yeah. So big shout out to Shop Racing, the VVR group here. Thanks for letting our Top Shop guys broadcast for here. Big shop. Shout out to Shop League, all the admins. Big shout out to my godson and my wife.
There you go. You heard it from the man himself, Chris Roberts, known as the nicest Canadian in Discord. So congratulations, Chris. We're gonna go ahead and drop you down there, get Nate Biggert up in here, and let's see what he has to say. Good job, Chris.
I think it.
All right, we're going to bring the GT3 winner, Mr. Nathan Biggert. What happened at the end? What talked to us there at the end? We thought you were going to give it up.
I thought so too, man. It was close. You guys,
What?
you guys talking to me in the broadcast when I hit that jump, it seemed to do some wheel damage.
Oh my goodness. We saw sparks when you hit it. I mean, obviously we're watching through kind of an aerial view, and we saw when you hit, a bunch of sparks came out from underneath the car, and that's why we were like, okay, we just got to go drop this guy back into the Discord because we don't want to interrupt him. But as soon as we did, your 9-second gap went into a 1-second gap.
Yeah, it went away pretty quick.
What was it? Some steering issues, or did you just lose speed? The splitter was dragging. What do you think
Nah,
it
it was
was?
a steering. It was definitely steering. Like, I was trying to like play with it at first, like down. I did a lap and I was struggling in the corners, and then going up like the straightaway the next lap, I was like wiggling it back and forth, and it was just, yeah, it was off. The wheel was still straight, but something was bent to where it wasn't turning correctly.
It was pretty
Yeah,
evident on the straightaway. We saw your hands in the car going left and right, left and right. But you had it. You still had that extra giggle juice, as we call it, the nitrous there at the end to get around Mark. I don't know if Mark misshifted or you just had
He
that
did.
better run.
He misshifted.
Is that what it was? He misshifted?
Yeah, because he, like, when we took off on the straightaway, he was pulling me, and then when he somehow, something, like, when he shifted, his car just lifted and stopped, and I was able to drive by.
Yeah, because you just jumped right out in front of him. I was like, look at this guy hitting the nitrous there at the end to get the W. But we thought, so we were looking at the timer and we thought we still had another lap or two left. It turns out that the timer was pretty accurate today because it went to 101, 61 minutes, and then we saw you guys pull over. So, I mean, congratulations on the win. How many wins is it this season for you here in the VVR Road Series?
Well, for the playoff win, that's my first one. Since the playoffs started, I haven't won one.
We're just so
But
used to you winning.
yeah.
Yeah, modesty is not his best attribute. But I'm going to let Church ask you a couple questions. He's probably going to pick your brain a little bit. I just want to go ahead and make sure that I congratulate you on a excellent race. I know it got dark on you. I know the weatherman. We're going to talk to the weatherman this week. We're not going to have no more dark races. We're going to make sure we have some pretty sunshine races moving forward. Maybe some rain. You like rain in the championship
Yeah,
You know,
rough
race.
rain. Yeah,
you
yeah.
put me on the spot. I really don't. You've answered everything that I was gonna ask. You could definitely tell when you guys were side by side. That car was weaving and wobbling back and forth. At that point is when I knew there was something wrong with that car, and but you're able to pull away the win, man. What a close battle! You guys battled all race long, which was pretty cool. It always seems like you're in those battles every single week, and it makes for a fun broadcast.
Yeah, it makes for a fun race. It's enjoyable when you can have someone close on pace and just battle it out like that. Be clean about it, not getting too aggressive. Just having a great battle between each other. I love that kind of racing. It's no fun to go out there and lap everybody or something like that. Like you got to have them, even if it ain't for the win. It could be for 20th place, but a battle like that is just a great time.
So we're off next week, and then we come back for Circuit Villeneuve or something like that, Montreal.
Yeah.
Have you ever
Giles,
been there?
You
Giles.
probably knows how to say it better than we can. But
Villeneuve.
Villeneuve, yeah, there you go.
No, Villeneuve. You ever been there? You like it?
I have actually. We raced it before in Chop Shop. I want to say last season or the first season that we had the GT3s going, and it's a fun track. There's a section in there that you really got to send it, but if you do it overdo it a little bit, you're going straight into the wall and your race is over. So fortune favors the bold, but if you make a mistake, it's gonna be the end of your race. So it'll be fun to see what happens.
It's going to be fun to watch, which is good to know that we've been there before. So that means a lot of us have the track. So um, off next week, and it sounds like the weatherman is not predicting any rain, and it's going to be sunny out.
Yeah, we're gonna get away from these dark races. I could have swore walking into this race we had that weather in the dusk, but
He was pitch
I,
black.
yeah, it went black, it went dark real quick, and it was on the top of my mind as we were racing. I was like, I think these guys were talking about it. We're gonna go to the dark. I was like, no, we're not gonna go to the dark. Yeah,
We need to
we.
fire. We need to fire the weatherman.
And it's such a pretty view of that track. So in the
It
dark,
is.
it does not do it justice.
No, no, this is one of the better looking tracks. It was definitely aesthetically pleasing for the first 20 minutes or so, but I mean, we want to make sure that we give you credit, give you your time to congratulate and thanks whoever you need to thank. I know your mom's out there; she's your biggest fan. We want to make sure we thank her for being your fan as well. But Nate, you did a heck of a job today. Congratulations on bringing it home. You even limped it home. I mean, even you're good when you can limp it home when you still can't steer the car and you still get that W. So, congratulations, buddy. I know once we update the points, you're definitely probably going to be locked into those final four. So maybe you get this championship that you've been seeking for quite a while now with Chop Shop. This will be your first championship if you can pull it out. And no better man to get it than Nate Bickert.
I'm taking all the championships this time around.
He's
Give
been
you,
fighting for one for a while now, so he's definitely going to earn it.
you know, that one person I'd like to talk to would be Mark Retchen, but I don't see him around. I'd like to get his point of view of it, but that's okay. We can talk to him later on or
Yeah,
something.
he didn't
But
jump into Discord. Mark had a wonderful race. We want to make sure we thank him as well. But Nate, go ahead and give your shout out so we can kind of wrap this up and make sure that everybody can go enjoy the rest of their Wednesday evening.
Yeah, just give a shout out to you guys, Chop Shop. All the work you all do for us to come out and have fun. Thank you in church, Chop Shop TV doing a broadcast. Look forward to going back, listening, watching. Definitely an exciting race for me. Just thank the drivers. Give a shout out to Mark, man, hell of a run. I did not expect it to even be that close. I don't know if I loaded the wrong setup or what, but my car was so much faster in practice than what we got in the race, and it was just a hell of a battle between us. There was one corner that he was so much faster than me. I just couldn't get the car to turn on that long sweeping right turn. So great job by him. All the other drivers keeping it clean out there, having a good night. The sponsor of the league, VVR, appreciate them. And all the fans watching, number one fan, Mom, love you.
There you go. You heard it from the future champion, Nathan Biggert. We want to go ahead and congratulate you on another victory that you had here at Chop Shop Racing. More to come. We're definitely going to see you here in the future in the booth, grabbing your podiums as you normally do. But until then, enjoy your time off. We'll catch you in Discord after the broadcast is over. All righty, Church. What do we got?
Yeah,
What are we thinking, Church?
those two guys said it, and I don't know why, but I keep forgetting. I used to be really on top of it when me and Ryan broadcasted, but here since we started with, I don't know. I keep forgetting to shout out Tim Lee and VVR and Virtual Velocity Racing. Just been too busy in the race. I don't know what it is. I don't know the reason and why I keep forgetting. But yeah, we want to give a huge shout out to Tim Lee and VVR, along with all of our other sponsors. We wouldn't be doing this road racing if it wasn't for those guys. So you got to give a huge shout out to them.
Definitely,
Yeah,
Tim Lee is the primary sponsor. He runs Virtual Velocity Racing. They run a wonderful oval series that you could catch them on Facebook. We'll have their link on the stream. A bunch of cars show up over there, and he didn't want the I guess he didn't want the headache to try to manage a road series, and he needed some assistance, and that's kind of how we paired up with Tim Lee, and he's been nothing but awesome. The partnership's been awesome with Tim Lee. Lately we've been having a little bit of participation issues, but that's normal when it comes to these series. Towards the tail end of the season, you're going to start seeing some of these guys drop off, and loyalty comes into play at times. But we're appreciative of everybody that does show up and run these races. A good example of that is Nate Biggert. He's a high I rating guy, but he's going to make it through from start to finish. So we appreciate everybody that does that. Tim Lee is obviously one of the big ones that we want to appreciate and say thank you. But there's a ton of other sponsors that we do have, Robert Church. So I'm going to run through those sponsors real quick. We have C2 Gaming, Sherry at My Three Sons, which we miss you wholeheartedly, Sherry. Track Racer, the Baller Status Boys, which are our internal, kind of our Patreon group. Speedy Trophies, Admin Box, Geomax, Virtual Velocity Racing, MCI Graphics, Stay Tuned Sports, which they have an awesome podcast. If you haven't seen them or heard of them yet, make sure you go to YouTube's at Stay Tuned Sports. They're awesome podcast. So we want to make sure we thank everybody, especially the admin team that we have over at Chop Shop. I mean, Robert Church is one of our admins. We want to go ahead and make sure we give him a huge kudos and thanks. Chris Roberge, Jerry Culver, John Hammond, which is a founder and owner of the Chop Shop, Mark Odell, Mark Retchen. Each one of these guys put forth a lot of effort. It looks easy when we're out here broadcasting. These guys are racing, but it takes a lot of time and effort. And these guys, without them, we wouldn't be able to do what we do, right? We're having fun, enjoying ourselves. Whether or not we have the driver count to have fun, it doesn't make a difference to us. We're going to go out here, we're going to have fun regardless. And that's what we're trying to do. Chop Shop TV, make sure if you haven't done so already, please subscribe and like the broadcast. We want to grow. This is our internal broadcasting. We do have some external partners such as Signature Esports, which we're super fond of, and they're kind of we want to be their protege. He's got tons of followers and stuff, so we want to make sure that we grow alongside with him. But if you haven't done so already, Signature Esports, make sure to subscribe and like, as well as Chop Shop _ TV at YouTube. But other than that, man, it was a great race. Fuji did put up a wonderful visual tapestry, as we can say, of
Until it got dark.
until it got dark, right? You know, it was gorgeous. We'll get that corrected for the following races. Make sure we have nothing but daytime
Yeah.
races. But
Yeah, we're bye week next week, and then Championship 4. Just 2 more races left in the season after
yeah,
this.
that's right. We do want to take the time out and make sure that everybody knows Chop Shop not only does road racing, but we just finished out our dirt series on Monday nights with Signature Esport. We're going to be going back to that dirt series Monday night, 7:30 Eastern. If anybody's interested, please visit chopshop.net and share your interest, or join us at our Discord, which is in the broadcast information. That's going to be starting up July 8th. We're going to be going to the more powerful vehicles, which are the Supers and the 410s. Is that correct, Church?
Yep, Supers and 410s, Super
We're gonna
late
go.
model and 410 sprint car.
Yep, that's going to be the big boy cars in the dirt series. We've kind of trickled our way up from kind of the small, slower cars to now the big boys. So that's what we're doing on Monday nights. Tuesdays we run the truck series. That's in the heat of the playoffs. Currently, we had a phenomenal race yesterday at Auto Club with that new aero package that Iracing provided to us on Tuesday. Wednesdays, we're doing the road series here. We got 2 races left. Generally, what we do at Chop Shop is we take a little break, a little breather, regroup, recruit, figure out what we're going to do and make adjustments. But the road series will be back. But they got 2 more races, and those are going to be the best of the season because it's going to be the championship races. So make sure you come back and check us out after the bye week. Fridays, we do the Cup Series, which is our premier series. Currently, we're off this Friday. However, it's also being broadcasted through Signature Esports. But if you haven't done so already, make sure you check us out there if interested and come and join us. We like everybody of all skill sets, and iRating, there is no cap when it comes to who is allowed to race. Everybody is welcome here as long as you have the same right frame of mind and a good attitude. You're going to do fine with Chop Shop. But all in all, that's what we do. We want to thank our friends and family that are out there that allow us to do what we do week in and week out. Every single one of our drivers. Without you guys, we wouldn't be able to do. We have a huge community, over 400 guys in the Discord that enjoy similar things that we do. I think we play. I mean, we're even playing PGA Tour and Madden and everything on an online community. So, I mean, we're doing it all. You guys want to come in, check us out, chopshop.racing.net, or check our Discord out. But that's all for me, Church. You got anything else?
No, that's it. Just want to thank everybody for watching, and stick around because the last 2 races are going to be even better.
That's right. I forgot to give kudos to one of our esteemed colleagues, Ryan. He's also an admin that assists with everything. He's kind of been on the mend, and he's changed his job. And I know he's out there occasionally listening to us. So if you're out there, brother, we miss you. We want you back here. He does the podcast at Chopping It Up. What a podcast. I know a lot of the guys are still waiting to get their foot in the door and to continue with that podcast. So the podcast will be coming back. It's Ryan's kind of had some scenarios where life comes into play and priorities take precedence, but he claimed he's going to be back, so we're ready to have him back so he can continue this podcast and help us grow as a Chop Shop and as a community. So Ryan, if you're out there, well, come on back, son. Churchy, you good to go?
Yeah, I'm good. Montreal off next Wednesday, the Wednesday after. Then after that, there'll be one more race left.
Monza, the championship race. So
yep.
It's going to be some good racing. Make sure you come on back, check us out. We appreciate everything that you do. But that's it for us on a Wednesday evening. We thank you very much for checking us out. Don't forget to subscribe. Chop Shop _ TV at YouTube.
Subscribe. Yep.
Appreciate it, Church. Thank you very much again for being my colleague and my sidekick today in the booth. Thank you very much.
Couldn't do it without you, man. Thank you for everything you've done for me. So off to the next one.
Alrighty, we'll catch you on the next time. We'll see you next 2 weeks from now on Wednesday. We'll be on before then, but we'll catch you then, guys.